This is only a test.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are tuned into the Black Dad Podcast on the YBG Network. I am Ed. I'm here with my guy, Davon, man. Oh, man, let's get to it. I don't want to do too much talking, man. I just want to get right to it, man. What's going on with you, Davon? How you doing, bro?
Oh man, chilling, man. Enjoying the week. Beautiful Saturday. Normally we record on Thursdays, but
Mm-hmm.
a little something work came up. You know how life is, so it's just been a blessing. We've been rocking out. Really excited. We got a good episode for y'all today. Always start it with the dad check in, see how the week was going for
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how was your week so far with the kids?
The week is a pretty flow, man. I pretty much got it down packed as far as like what's going on my day to day. The only thing that's pretty much new is this right here. So
Yeah.
balancing this out throughout the week, but it's been going pretty well. I'll be going to get my baby girl this week. You know, she been having a little rough time, so she needs some time with me. So I'm gonna be going down Pennsylvania to go scoop her up.
Yeah.
Let her spend a couple of weeks here with me and Jazz and Cool. Other than that, man, as far as like the older kids, I ain't really heard nothing from them. So I take that as a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, they normally call me when they in like a distressful situation. So since I haven't heard anything, I'll send them a text just to check on them. But, other than that, man, I just been again, like locked in on this, trying to figure out new ways, new approaches to help this thing grow, man. Like I said, I'm excited. You know, I'm excited that you excited. And yeah, we gonna get to that. For sure we gonna get to that, man.
Yeah, no, man, I'm right there with you. Just really excited about this. As far as the weekend, the kids, man. Like I said, I think last episode I said, man, I'm just ready for the end of the school year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting in a little trouble towards the end of the school year. You know, it's big about just making sure he defend himself. I don't never want nobody to be picking on my son or nothing, but then don't never really be too passive. So that's kind of been a big conversation me and him been having recently. And, you know, right now, I think he just got his phone back today. His mom took his phone. He was in trouble, but, you know, I rather always have my son defend yourself, things like that. I deal with the school. I deal with that. So that was the big thing on my plate this week. And then the oldest, he got prom. Bella's Bella, Leia's Lay. Everybody just good. So it's been a good week, man. I've definitely been looking forward to this.
Well, now, when you talk about like the behavior and even like the defending of himself, like it made me think about my son. And because my son, he has those same things, like little behavioral issues and stuff like that. But it made me think about like when I like review it with him, like I'll like tell me everything that happened, right? So as he's telling me, I always point out an area where he could have made a better decision. You feel me? I get it. Once we cross into that area of like somebody lay their hands on you, then it got to go up. But also too, you know, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to help my son learn that early because, you know, you know how we was young boys. You know how it is. You'll do a whole bunch of back and forth before the fight go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's very seldom that it just pop off like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I tried to help my son understand. He's 11. Also, he'll be 12 in February. And I tried to help him understand, like, you know, in that area right there, that was an opportunity for you to go the other way.
Yeah.
But again, we talk about ego and I don't want to be no punk.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm trying to like help my son. And I would want all my sons to understand is emotional intelligence and balancing out like you know your aggression when you find yourself in certain situations. Because again, like on the first episode, I talked about like that was like a fear of mine, becoming a father of a son. You know, I always wanted that, but it became a fear of mine because there's so many different things that could go left with our boys in today's society. So like that's one of the things that I would want for my sons. For sure is the ability to think their way through situations so that they can make the best decision possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the best possible outcome.
No, it's crazy you said it because I always try to look at my son be going through situations, I always look at what's the common denominator of all these situations. What is it? Is you talking back? Cause you gotta think he got a mouth like me. Like anytime somebody says something, he want to say something back. But that's not always good because an adult will take that as disrespect. You know, somebody that's in a position of authority will take that as disrespect. So I be trying to get with him, just like, all right, yeah, son, sometimes you may be making sense. Yeah, you're very smart, you're very intelligent, but that's somewhat disrespectful to a parent. So I kind of look at that common denominator in his situations and try to like, listen, son, you can alleviate all your problems by just shutting up. Like, we're just ill or being more, sometimes a little more aggressive. Like, shit, these guys want to be push you on the basketball court, you need to push them back. Like, so I'm really, I've been big on that with him, having conversations with him. So
I'll say this about Day Day, like he's very well spoken, and I think that's important for young people,
yeah,
young men. Most importantly, is having that ability to like vocalize how they feel or what they're thinking.
right.
When we had the chance to interview him last year, that's one of the things that stood out graciously was like his ability to speak for himself.
Yeah.
You know, Jazz had pop-up questions for him and he had answers for everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a great attribute for young black men to have, is the ability to speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So salute to you for that.
He gonna talk.
Yeah.
But no, we're gonna dive into the main topic. We always get like a main conversation to start off the episode after the check-in. So our main conversation this week was, what conversations will you have or have you had with your kids about sex, sexually transmitted diseases, and pregnancy?
So, woo. So again,
Let me take this one first. Give you some chance.
I'm ready. Again, so you know, my oldest daughter, shout out to Shy. She's a mother. She's been a mother now for shout out to Riley, my poppy seed. She'll be 4, right?
Right.
When it happened, she was young. She was in the 11th grade. So, you know, you can imagine as a father, like I was like, you know, lost my mind about it. But
yeah,
leading up to it, you know, me and her mother, like that was an area like where I thought, you know, her mother could like probably help her understand a lot better. You know, I would talk to her, but I think that coming from me, because I'm her father and that authority factor that I come along with, you know, it might come across like I'm just trying to control her or tell her what to do. You know, that was kind of like a lot of what I had to deal with. But the conversation was there. Another thing I said in one of our past episodes was like when she was like around 12, I had begun to talk to her about boys because I didn't expect for it to happen so soon or at the time, and it did. But I knew that it would happen inevitably because it's the circle of life. That's just what happens, right?
Yeah.
But my thing was to try to make sure as her father that she was educated and well aware of the ins and outs of that world.
Right.
And you got to think for a father talking to his daughter, it might be a little like cringy, even for the girl, maybe even the father too. Yeah. So that's why I said, like, I think like her mom, and shout out to her mom because her mom ain't hold no punches on her. You feel me? Like she did what, as far as what I know, like she did what she knew how to do as far as like making sure that my daughter was educated and aware of certain decision makings. Right. And, it's tough, man. I think again, so my son is only 11, right? I believe once it comes to having those conversations with my son, it'll be a lot easier for me because I won't have like that cringe or that feeling of like, I gotta be mindful of my approach because he a man. So he's like, I don't think it's going to be too much that I'll share with him about being a man that's going to be like out of bounds. You follow me? I think that I'll be able to handle that conversation a lot better, right? But as far as like when it came to my daughters, it was very challenging because I wanted to be there in that space. But again, it might be as a 30, maybe 32, 33-year-old man talking to a 16, 17-year-old girl about them things. It's like tough to navigate through. You follow me? So what I would say is like, definitely want to make sure that you have those conversations. But I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you take over, right? This is why I always say like, having balance within the parenting, whether
Yeah.
you with the person or not, because in those moments, those are the moments that y'all need to be able to work with each other and lean on each other. You follow me?
Yeah.
Especially if the common goal is to make sure that the child is okay. You follow me? So I think that in those moments, your daughter's gonna need they're gonna need you, but it's gonna be like depths of that conversation that maybe only mom could really like understand when it comes to your daughters.
Yeah.
And like I would say the same thing for us as fathers when it comes to our sons. So, but definitely I champion like when those points in time come, like we gotta definitely try to be on the same page, because if not, it's going. I'm trying to tell you. I can tell you that too. It's gonna be all over the place. That ain't a recipe.
Because it's gonna be mixed messages, mixed signals. Like it's two different things. You guys going against each other. You might tell her one thing and mom tell her another. So no, I definitely agree with that. And I'm gonna try to break my response down to kind of like a two ways, like the same way with you, how to my daughter, how my son. Now my son is 11, so I have begun to have conversations with him about sex simply because I lost my virginity at 12. So I know that is, kids that do have sex at a young age. So I kind of want to talk to him about the sexually transmitted disease, pregnancy, using condoms, things of that nature, having sex premarital sex, having sex before you're ready. I haven't gotten to him into the deepness about sex, when the soul ties, the laying with different women, stigmatizing the wrong woman. You stigmatize the wrong woman. Life is crazy. I'm telling you, that's how I got the word. I'm gonna tell him like Uncle Ben told Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. You can't just be laying with every woman certain type of ways. And so that's why I kind of want to always implore to him about marriage, being with one woman, maintaining, a safe household, sexual practices. So I haven't really gotten in depth with him like that, but I did tell him about like, I'm extreme with him. I tell him, bro, if you ever masturbate, your dick gonna fall off. Like, so I tell him stuff like that. I tell him stuff like, man, if you don't wear a condom, you get disease, man, it's gonna be all bubbled up and stuff like that. So I'm telling him like the worst of the worst to kind of just fear monger him and just deter him from ever wanting to, be curious and have sex early. As a man, I'm 37 now, but at 12, I've been having sex over 20-something years, but I seen the negative impact that it had, when you have sex at a young age. I'm always trying to have a conversation with him about it. And then in regards to my daughter only 7, but that Bella's 7, Leia is 3. So I'm not talking to them about sex or anything right now. Kai, 18, I'm probably can assume he's already had sex, so it's not
right. And he played ball and all that.
Yeah. So it's like my really conversation with Kyle would kind of be just, when he about to go away to college, I'm gonna just do him how my uncle did me, give him a whole big box of condoms and just say, be safe, don't come back, make me no grandpa. Just play ball, go to school, do your thing. But the girls, it's just right now, I just want to always implore to them just the negative impacts of having sex at a young age, the strength that it takes to have a baby at a young age and the things you got to go through. And then all the things that some young girls have a baby at a young age and they feel like, damn, I'm not living my life. I can't go out. My friend's doing this. My other friend's doing that. They watching the social media. My other friends is in college. My other friends is on vacation, but I'm in here with a baby. So I always want to implore them to that. Like, that's not a bad thing because that was the life that God meant for you. But I always want you to know if you can avoid these things, you can change them, then like, why not? So that's what I'm gonna kind of always try to implore to the girls, like, be respectful to your bodies. Don't be out here just having sex with this person, that person. Just you're a good person. So,
so I would say like one of the things, like, so again, for me becoming a father at a young age and also having young children, is like as you're still growing up.
Yeah.
So you might still be like trying to balance being a father, but you still, again, learning life for yourself. So the decision making, the examples that you're living out in front of your children matter also. Yeah. You follow me? Because, I'll say my daughters seeing, like, even though, again, I was present in their lives, they had an insight of what my life was looking like. Yeah. They seen the different girlfriends. You got a different girlfriend they ain't my mom, they ain't your mom, even they ain't your mom. You know what I'm saying? So I think the example that you live out in front of your children is just as important too as the things that you talk to them about. You follow me? The
Yeah.
balance. I feel like a lot of like the areas of life that we're trying to like work through. A lot of it comes down to like having like a good balance.
Yeah.
You follow me? It's never going to be perfect, but I think just having a good outlook on things and having a good mindset also, you know what I'm saying? It could be very helpful. But again, like having children at a young age, you still kind of going through that thing where you still trying, you're going to find a way to do your thing. You
Yeah.
follow me? But failing to realize my daughters is looking right at me. You know what I'm saying? So you want to now, obviously now at 38, I have a better understanding now, so, how I live my life and the things that I do the examples that I do try to set are a lot better than probably when I was 22. You follow me? So
and
that's what I would say.
It's crazy you said it because I never even really, not until recently, realized that my behavior, the things that I was doing with different women, that my kids were even paying attention to. Like until like they telling my fiance now, like, your daddy used to have them girls in here, daddy had this one and had that, and I'm just like, damn, I didn't even really think that y'all paying attention. They count like, yeah, it was this girl, that girl, and then it's like, is this the example I'm setting for my daughter to think that a man is cool because he's messing with this woman, that woman? Is this an example I'm setting for my son that every time I leave one girl, and my son actually do this now, like he little boy with puppy love. After he stopped messing with one girl, he immediately on to the next. Cause that's the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
So it's just you are examples to these kids. So what they watch, they they become. So I gotta be more cognizant of how I'm behaving, and I think I'm doing a better job.
Yeah, and again, I always say communication too. Like I think just having the continuous conversation, even in your imperfection, right? I think that one thing about our sons and our daughters is that one day they'll be adults, so they'll be able to understand a lot better at some point. You follow me? But the communication, I think the communication throughout it all is important also.
Yeah,
feel me?
That is key. All right, we're going to head to the next segment, man. It's one of my favorites, y'all, and it's y'all's too. Can you get with this or you can't get with that? So we got a nice list today. First off, a petition to free Tory Lanez has been started. Can you get with this? This is after new evidence has come out. Basically, on the swore affidavit, the bodyguard says he's heard Kelsey stated she was the one that shot. There's been new recording evidence of them hearing the gunshots matching specifically what the guy said. So how can you get with this or can you get with that? You can't get with that.
I could get with Tory getting freed if he completely innocent and he didn't do anything. Yeah, I again, that's like one of those joints where I could see on social media calls the large division between male and female, which I can't get with. No. But to take that part out of it, if we just talking about the straight facts of the situation, like I could get with that, and I don't really have no like opinion or no thoughts on like Meg or the other chick. You feel me? Yeah. But just from an idea of like being wrongfully accused, he was stabbed and all that stuff like that, and he could have lost his life and all that. I definitely could get with him being released. What he was sentenced to 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely get with him being released if new facts developed and those facts are proving that he was innocent. Yeah, I could get with that.
Yeah, so I can get with his release as well. What I can, because I'm big on social media. And I'm always on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The lack of accountability that the Megan fans and everybody is showing from the situation, just not really want to acknowledge that. Was she shot? Did she shot? Did they find bullet fragments? You got Congress people that's working on this case now. So it's a lot of fishy things. And I just, I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I don't want to say that Megan Thee Stallion's team got him stabbed in jail because there's new evidence was coming out, or somebody from Rock Nation, or how they do with the conspiracy theory. I just think it's an unfortunate situation on the whole, because you got a woman who is hurt and harmed, and she feels a victim, and she feels victimized, and she feels like unsafe and unprotected. And then you got a black man who's feeling though like I protected two black women by not telling them what really happened. Or so it's a really sticky situation. But I'm a Tory Lanez fan, man. If I had a bottle right here, I'd drink it, take a shot for my man, because I pray he come home. You know, I love his music. I love his energy. I think he cracked the code when he was selling his albums as NTFs.
Yeah, yep.
And then from making $1 million in a day, and then people buying these albums for $1, then reselling them for 20, 30,000. So it was really an amazing thing he was doing, even though NTFs ain't really even a big thing like that no more. I just think it was.
What was that on the brink of? That was like around like COVID or right outside of COVID,
where
right after
everybody
COVID.
got these memes and stuffs, and they selling it.
Yeah.
What was the guy was like a gorilla, and the one thing was going for like 20,000. But people lost so much money from that stuff. But I just, it's an unfortunate situation. The next one, can you get with this? You can't get with that. Chris Brown has been released after initially his bail was denied, and he was supposed to be remanded into custody until June 13th. However, he paid, I believe, about $6.3 million in bail and was released. So can you get with this, or you can't get with that?
Of course, anytime I've been in jail. You feel me? And I'm just saying, like, it's not a place that I want to be, and I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. So if his resources of money was has enabled him or put him in a position to be able to be free, I could get with that. You feel me? I just don't. It's just weird that I would say that he would have had to deal with it. He would have known that it was like out there. You feel me? And he probably just wanted to go ahead and just get it over and done with. But it has to be a hell of a feeling to have $6 million just laying around and say, you know what, take it, just give me my freedom. You feel me? But yeah, I could definitely get with that.
He on tour, so he about to cash out on that's 6.3, and he on tour overseas, so you might just make that in one country. So I could get with that as well. I feel bad he had to pay the 6.3. Not in the conspiracy theory, but I think it's a little eerie that he says free Tory one day, and then the next day goes to England and is arrested. Like, they knew he was coming. He knew he was coming. I don't even think he would have planned a tour if he was under that impression that he was going to be arrested and have to pay money. But no, I just glad he out and be able to make some money. What's the next one? All right, the next one is a coalition of Democratic lawmakers and advocates on Thursday reintroduced a resolution to offer reparations to descendants of enslaved Africans and people of African descent. Can you get with this, or you can't get with that?
Give me my money. Yeah. Give me my money. Yeah, I can get with that, dog. I'm tired of slaving. I've been slave. I'm probably like a 4th generation slave, dog. I'm trying to turn that shit around. Give me enough money so I ain't got to do that shit no more, dog. Hell yeah, I can get with that, dog. Hell yeah. And speaking of that, I just say, just to give you some quick context, my grandmother, my mother's mother, she was born in the year 1918, literally, bro. 1918. We're in the year 2025. She lived during my lifetime, you feel me? But she passed away when I was about 12. So the year like 98, 99, she had passed away. But I always think, right? And she had my mom around like 40, which is older than what I am right now, right? But I always think like, yo, I'm not that far removed when you talk about like bloodline, because my mom didn't have a bunch of brothers and sisters. My grandma was born in 1918. My grandmother, not my great-great-grandma.
Yeah,
my grandmother.
Yeah.
So it made me think like, dang, how old was her parents? You know, that's the information that I don't really have, like the background on like her parents.
And where was your family from? Where was she from?
They from Philly, from Pennsylvania.
They was always up north. They was never down south.
Now, granted, see, that's what I don't know. Yes. I would think that, like, as far as like my grandmother's father, like what I know about him is that all I know about him, my great aunt before she passed, I asked her, which would be my grandmother's sister. I asked her, and she said all she really remembered, because she was younger when he was alive. She said she only remembered that he had real fine hair. He wore the comb to the back, and he spoke with an island accent, and he worked on the Brooklyn Bridge. That's all she know about him. You feel me? And they had 7 or 8 siblings. I mean, they had 8 siblings.
Yeah.
So they was basically raising each other. Their mother had passed away when they were young. So when my grandma was like 17, her mom had passed away. So she got a bunch of siblings and they basically raised each other. You feel me? But my point was like, I ain't that, like, if it wasn't their parents, it was probably their parents or their.
Yeah.
So I ain't that far removed. So yeah, give me my bread, dog. Yeah, I could use that. We could definitely use that.
Yeah.
I could definitely get with the reparations, man, for sure.
So for what I'm hearing, they said the proposed amount would be $300,000 to every descendant of enslaved Africans or people
I
of
could use
African
that,
descent.
but we deserve more. But
Yeah.
I could get with the 300,000. But after they tax it, it's gonna be like. But I could even get with that. But it's like,
Yes, I
300,000.
could get with it. I shoot. I see. That's the only thing, though. So I won't want to do a genealogy. I'm not going to say I don't know if we descended of slaves. But I've seen like what is it? Tracing Your Roots. I believe with Harry Lewis Gates. He has a show on there, Finding Your Roots, and they've gone and there's be black people on there, and they're not even descendants of slaves. Like their family has been free forever, was never enslaved. So I would definitely want to do my genealogy. If I'm a descendant of slaves, yeah, cash me out too, because I want to be a little more intelligent with it. Like it'd be stealth wealth. I wouldn't even really act like I got it. Like I act like my family was freed. Like I ain't even get the people. Like so. Like I just.
I don't know what happened, bro.
Yeah, they ain't give it. They skipped me. They ain't call me.
I've gotten like it's so funny. So speaking about like bloodlines, I've gotten like, are you Jamaican? You know what I'm saying? I've had like actual Jamaicans ask me that, like, you Jamaican? And I'm like, I mean, not that I know of, but you know, when I tell you I talked to my great aunt, she said he talked with an island accent, but the island accent could be any island. You feel me?
No, they can tell, like, cause I get asked in my Dominican and I speak Spanish and stuff, but I don't know nobody in my family that's Dominican or look Dominican.
But you know what's connected to Dominican? Haitians.
Yeah.
So Jazz would always say, she would say like Creole when I show her like pictures of my ancestors and stuff like that. She would say Creole. But ironically enough, like 2 weeks ago, me and Jazz we were out somewhere. We had it was me, Jazz, Journey, that's Jazz's daughter, and I had Kobe with us. And some Spanish lady said, "You guys Dominican?" And we like, no. She like, and Jazz was like, "Are you Dominican?" She like, "No, I'm Puerto Rican." But me and Jazz just kept like laughing, like, why she just come out of nowhere and ask if our family was Dominican? You feel me? Like, but it might be something of that, because even when I say like Dominican is you got a lot of like Haitians. Yeah. You follow me? Like, so remember even when I said like the island accent? So you might, if you don't really know, you could potentially mistake a Haitian accent for like a Jamaican accent.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Trinidadian too, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know though. I don't like as far as my knowledge, like I know like my mom originally from South Philly. That's where she grew up at. So when I'm wherever they were at before. But even I got these works right now. Like my mom got like a diary from my grandmom. It's literally dated in the 30s. Wow. You feel me? When she was like a teenager. You feel me? Or probably like a young adult. But all that stuff is Pennsylvania. That's all like Philly. You feel me? So I'm gonna say South Philly. I'm gonna say South Philly, Carpenter Street. I think like 15th or 16th from Carpenter.
All right.
So as like going closer to like the 70s, that's when they migrated to like West Philly. You feel me? But anything before that, I don't really know about. You know what I mean? I should, but I don't.
Yes, I know my grandmother, I think she's originally born in North Carolina, my mom's mom, and my dad's mom. My dad was actually born in Louisiana, and as a baby came up here to Philadelphia. So I visited Louisiana family. Like we still got land down there. Me and my cousin actually supposed to, it's show law, knock on wood. We're supposed to go down there because it's like land that they don't even use. So it's like a small town in Louisiana, kind of close to Alabama. So, yes,
Louisiana. That's that pot. Like you gonna see a lot of that. Like islanders migrated there. You feel me? So it'd be nice to know like exactly what it is and where you started at. But I think it's like if I could have my own guess, I would say like if it's not, even if it's slaves. You feel me? Because I think a lot of people gonna have like that. You know, they
Yeah.
even when you think about the Haitians, they was Africans that like, no, they swim like, yeah, no, we off this joint, swim to an island, like we gonna fight this joint off. So I think even to some degree, like I think we all, I'm gonna say like people of a certain shade, I'll say, because not everybody is going to be African. Some people are, you know, of other descents, and I would say for myself though, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if it's like an island somewhere. I would, because I've always heard it. So if people can see it, I just never thought about it too much for myself. But if other people could see it that actually have that or are that,
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that it's something of that nature for sure.
All right, y'all got a challenge for our watchers and our viewers right now. If we get 1,000 subscribers, me and Ed will do the 23andMe. We will do
All right, let's
find
do
out
it.
our genealogy,
Let's
find
get
out
it.
where we from. Oh, yo hablo español. Yo quiero ser mejor en español. I want to be better in Spanish. Yo estudio todos los días. I study every day.
She said,
I literally,
Jazz, so that me and Jazz had a running joke. So I posted we took like a few pictures from that day when the lady asked us if I was if we were
Dominicano.
Dominican. so when I post the picture, Jazz says something like "Hola, papi," and I say "Te quiero empanadas." Like I don't even know Spanish. I just know that
You want a pinata?
They like, nah, bro. Like, nah, you ain't that. But nah, it would definitely be a blessing to have like that full understanding of like your true background. You feel me? And
because they said you don't know where you're going until you know where you came from. So you got to. So we got 2 more left. You can't get with this, or can you get with this, or you can't get with that. Women wearing scarves and bonnets in public. Can you get with this, or you can't get with that?
I'm subjective about it. I feel like it depends on what's going on and where you going. I ain't mad at even if Jazz wouldn't do it, but if Jazz like had her hair done and she wore a bonnet and she was making a quick run somewhere in and out, I ain't really mad at that. You feel me?
Yeah.
But also too, like I think it's subjective to what you doing and where you going. I don't think wearing a bonnet to your kids' graduation or to their award ceremony is, you know what I'm saying? Like I think when you got to go somewhere and you got to present yourself, like really present yourself, or speak up on the behalf of yourself or somebody else, I think that you should fit the rule. Like right now, I'm in the crib.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I'm, you know, I ain't in a robe or nothing like that. I present myself. You follow me? So I think it's subjective to what you got going on. So can I get with it? Yeah, I'm like somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. You feel me? Yeah.
I can't get with it, and I'm only gonna say because of this. First impressions are lasting, and you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to see. Presentation matters. One day I used to do Instacart a lot, and I was in the supermarket.
Shout out to Instacart.
And I seen this woman. This woman was so nicely dressed, and it was like nicely dressed. Right behind her was her husband. Do you know who her husband was? Bernard Hopkins. When I say they looked it clean, she looked it clean. She was presentable, this and that. She ain't had no bonnet on. She had no scarf on. She was clean. And it was like that presentation, that first impression lasted to me like, wow, this is, and even I think my mom seen her one time when she took his blood recently, and she's like, wow, she looks nice. Like, so it's like that presentation. Like, and I think that we as black people sometimes we don't understand that presentation matters. Like, we'll get out here, yeah, and we do it a lot in the airport. Oh, we got the do-rag on. We chilling. We ain't even trying to bust out the waves until we near some waves. Like we don't want to show the bonnet or the weave until we on the island. So I get it, but no, I just think that presentation, when you come outside, it's a certain look you get when you together, you clean, your hair is a certain way. It's a certain look and a feel. Even the confidence, you feel yourself like, damn, I look good. I think
I get that.
We should do this is just my opinion. I always just make my thoughts. I just think we should do a better job of presentation. Like, we go outside. I can't tell you how many young boys I go outside, man. The clothes is dirty, stained. Like, it's just like, we can really take more like consideration to our appearance.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. And if I think back, like I said, jazz don't rock out like that, and
Yeah.
my mom never even did nothing like that. You feel me? And I just in terms of like presentation, coming up as a kid, I didn't have like all the name brand clothes, but like I was clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My
Yeah.
mom was getting that shit straight out the JC Penney catalog, but that shit was clean.
It was clean.
You feel me? So that was like so now for me as an adult, I kind of like had that same thing when it come to my children. Like, so yeah, presentation matter, you know? Like I get that for sure. I can understand and agree with that for sure.
All right, it's the last John. Letting your kids attend sleepovers with friends. Can you get with this? Or you can't get with that.
I haven't done it, right? I as at no point have my children spent the night at like friends' house. Like I can remember like when my daughter Shy, my oldest daughter, she had turned like I think it was either her 12th or her 13th birthday, and they did like a hotel party. You know, I had gotten a hotel, but I wasn't there because there was a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old girls and stuff like that. So that was like her mom thing. Her mom like chaperoned that ordeal. But as far as like, I would have to say, for real, I don't have a real opinion because I've never done it, right? But if I had to make that choice, I would be very skeptical about it. Friends' houses, yeah, that's a tough joint. You feel me? Like a mutual situation where like you can be kind of like again, like I said, I've had we did the hotel parties, and I'm sure that those parents had to be somewhat conscious of the position that they were placing their young daughters in. But I would say no. I would just say no. I can't get with that. I couldn't get with that. Not in today's time. I need to be fully aware. You feel me, of what's going on and where my child is at all times.
Yeah, I definitely can't get with, only for two reasons. Because of one, of my upbringing, what I seen as growing up as a kid, and then two, from working as child welfare system. So I can remember as a kid, this girl, I was probably maybe 15, 16. The girl mom was letting me spend the night at her house. She would work overnight, and the girl would invite her friend to come spend the night. So the girl's mom, well, her best friend's mom, probably didn't think that girl was coming over there and was boys staying there, or that the mom was okay with it. No, we spending the night. She come in the morning time, see us, hey, good morning. We laying on the floor with in the bed with the girls, me and my cousin. Like, so it's sometimes you had that carefree parent who they ain't really gonna give a fuck. Ain't gonna say nothing. They gonna let you.
I know what you talking about. I've seen them. I've been in those situations too. So yeah, and that shit. Yeah, no, I've definitely been there.
Them houses is the worst, and I've been in several where it's no you in there with the big cousin or the mom who's doing her own thing. She running around. The dad not paying you no mind. It's a lot of drugs, sex, rape, all the type of stuff kind of situations where it's not monitored.
At that young age, that's a lot. That's a lot to be exposed to. And I was gonna go back to like what you said, like with us coming up. I did it. I stayed at my friend's house, but it wasn't, I don't even want to say that it was a different time. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. It just wasn't, if like a Friday night, it might be a group of us staying at one of our houses, one of the friends' houses or something like that. Like, I've done that. I've gone to like my friend's aunt house with like a group of us and stuff. So I was safe, you feel me? But I think now you just
never
the tables have turned. Yes,
and then my second reason, not only just from my history, but then also me working as a social worker. And I can't tell you how many times a kid has been touched a certain type of way during a sleepover, or the parents step out for a second, and then come weeks later, we find out that these kids was being touched or asleep, or something happened where it's not being monitored. So I know what type of time I'm on. I don't know what type of time these other parents is on. So I'm gonna monitor my kids the best way I can. So I don't go for that sleepover shit. They excuse my language, and they definitely, he got a homie, Jay, and he cool. He like do sleepovers and stuff with him, and I ain't got no problem with that because they close, they homies. He got his other brother there. I met the parents, live in a nice community, so I don't have no problem with that. But my daughter's nah.
Yeah, right, and that's what I would say too, because that's why I was saying it's like, but like when my daughters is no. So hold on, let me tell you this when my daughters were young, right, I could tell there were instances where, like, my daughter Brianna, she got a younger sister. She would, like, if I went to go get Brianna for the weekend, she would come stay with us. You
Yeah.
feel me? My daughter Imani also had a friend, Angela at the time. I don't know if Angela ever stayed the night at like with us. But she would like come over. You feel me? Like, so if Imani was coming over for like the weekend, she would definitely, or if we were going to the beach or to the pool, she would come along with us. And again, so that's why I'm saying, because I know, like, for me myself, like, I've been in those situations where I've been that parent who had to be responsible for some other children who weren't necessarily mine. It's the same thing with even though she my niece, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with my niece Ashley. She would come along with me and the girls if we had, and obviously Ashley would stay with us because I'm her uncle, right?
Right.
But I, like, for me, again, I'm a father of daughters, but I'm so conscious of like just being aware of certain things. Like, I just like, even when it came to my daughters, like, it got to a point where when they got to a certain age, I stopped washing them up. Y'all got to figure that shit out on your own. So
Yeah.
you definitely conscious of those things when you around other people's children, especially like, to your point, like younger girls and stuff. You're not putting yourself in those weird situations where things could be questioned, right?
Right.
But like I said, for me, like, I guess, like, I've been in that situation where they've come like stay with me, but I've never like sent my daughters off. Like, they've never like went to go stay at their friend house. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, it was never no. And then again, even in those situations, the communication was there, so it wasn't like I was just taking somebody's child. Like, the communication with the other parent was always available. The communication with the child and their parent was always available during those points in time. So, but I can't see like my daughter, like, my older girls are older now, but as far as like my daughter Brazil, I'm way too protective of her. Like, I need to know what the hell's going on with her at all times. And if some extra shit going on, I need to be aware. You know what I'm saying?
See, I'm just scared my karma gonna come back to me because I was such a sneaky kid. Like, I'm telling my mom I'm in Southwest at my cousin's house. I'm in South Philly at a girl house. I'm telling my mom I'm in Southwest at my homie Rail house. I'm really up Northeast at a girl house. So I was doing so much lying, and then coming the next morning, my mom like, "Hey, how's Rail house?" And I'm like, "Hey, we had fun, went skating and shit." Like, so I don't never want that to happen to me. So I was like, I got to I got to Lord.
I did it too, bro. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, dog. And that's just the thing with parenting. You're going to definitely face some challenges, bro. But I'm going to go back to like communicating, keeping that door of communication open. Like, my niece Anaya, Anaya be 25, 26 this year. And I'm sharing this, right? But when she was probably like 17, 18 at the time, she called me frantic one time, right? So so I pick up the phone and I'm like, first thing she say is, "Oh my gosh, please don't tell my mom. Please don't tell my mom." I said, hold on, like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? So she like, she with her friend, and she like, we lost. We don't know where we at. So I'm like, all right, mind you, they from Delaware, but they in Philly somewhere. So I'm like, you got to go to the corner of the block and read the sign. And if you read the sign, I can see where you at, right? So she like, it say Kensington. It say Kensington. I was halfway on. When she said Kensington, bro, I was at work. I was damn near on 95 when she said Kensington, right? But then come to find out, it was King Sesson. So that was like, that was like a little sigh of relief because she wasn't too far. She was like with her dad, like at her dad's house.
Right.
You follow me? So mind you, she at her dad's house, but she with her friend and they wandered off to go do some shit that they probably shouldn't have been going to do. So the person she decided to call is me. So I'm like King Sesson. So I'm like, what in King Sesson? So she wasn't too far from her dad's house, but she from Delaware and don't know her way around.
Right.
You follow me? So I was able to like help her out, but as an uncle, right? So let me ask you this, right? As an uncle, I didn't say anything. She was ultimately okay. Yeah. She ended up being fine. She made it back to her dad's house safely, like nothing had happened, but I never said nothing to my sister. So like, what would you have done in that kind of situation? You think I should have said something to my sister? Like, mind you, she was 17. And like I said, she just wandered off, thinking she was grown, but she called me.
She trusted you in that moment. So no, I wouldn't.
You know what I'm
mm-hmm. went against her trust, especially you was who she felt safest with at that moment. Like, she know her mom, despite her mom would have been able to guide her, her mom would have scolded her, been mad at her. She couldn't call
Mm-hmm.
dad would have been upset, but you got understanding uncle. So call me, I'll help you out and guide you through it. So no, you handled it right. Now you got some blackmail on
Shout
it
out.
though. You supposed to hold that on, like, come on, niece, I need a cheese steak, a chicken finger sandwich, something like.
So I always call shout out to my cousin Kristen, man. She's a little older. She like 5 years older. So like I call her after the situation. I call Kristen just to make sure because I'm like, she like, no, you know. But my point was like, Kristen is like my like older sister in that situation too. She a little older than she a little younger than my sister, but it's a great balance. So if I find myself in certain situations where I'm like, do I need? And she works in it. She's a caseworker herself,
Okay.
so she's worked in that world too, just like yourself. So I always call Kristen like, Chris, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And she always kind of like give me a good, like she always guides me through that and like handles the situation. So even without me calling my sister, I called Kristen and Kristen stepped in. You feel me? She handled and talked to my niece the way that she should. So, but I would say like just going back to the question at hand, you definitely, especially with your daughters, your sons too, because it's a wild world for our boys. But your daughters, we gotta protect them, man. It's crazy out here, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely too crazy just to be letting them do any and everything.
Because I was outside, and I don't need them outside. Lord.
Trust me, I understand.
Yeah, we know we always got the stat of the week. And stat of the
Okay.
week comes from Brookings.edu. The title of the research was called Black Wealth is Increasing, but so is the racial wealth gap. And the article stated that racial disparities in home ownership continues to throttle the growth, with 44% of black individuals owning a home compared to 73% of white individuals. And another stat that I found as well in the same article is stated that in 2022, for every $100 in wealth held by black households only held $15.
Mm. For me, it's gonna start with like, well, self-worth, number one, like understanding your worth as a person and what you bring to the world, period, right? Because
Right.
I way too often have I seen people just work a steady job and never really gain any like elbow room to do anything else.
Right.
So even if they have a house, they've gotten a car, they might even help some of the kids through college and all that stuff. They never really get the opportunity to really live life. They kind of just stay in that lane of like, I gotta, as long as I can pay my bills or as long as I can, pay my mortgage and all that stuff, but they never really get a chance to like really truly live. So I would say self-worth number one and financial literacy number two, man. Like, it's so many things that they teach us in school, going to public schools and stuff like that, that we ultimately end up not using in real life. I think like making like financial literacy and, maybe like understanding taxes, how that factor into your day to day, that stuff is very important. And I'm not going to say not all schools, but a lot of the inner city schools, the public schools, they just aren't focusing on those things, right? They focus on so many other things and, we stressing trying to make sure we can graduate and all that. And then we taking stuff into the real world that we ultimately don't even need, right? So financial literacy plays a big part in our community too, just having that understanding of like, how to spend a dollar, why to spend a dollar.
Yeah.
Ever so often are we spending our money on things that we don't need. You follow me? I go back to being a kid. Like I said, I didn't have designer and my mom she wasn't trying to hear it,
Right.
but she made sure I had things that I was clean. I wasn't looking like whatever my mom was going through. She made sure that my clothes was clean. She made sure that they was new during Christmas or during the birthday or whenever the right time was. So I think having that understanding also plays a part in it too. As far as like ownership on like homes and stuff like that, again, like that's where that self-worth in the financial literacy going to play a big part in too, because a lot of people, I think my opinion, I don't own a home. I rent, right? but I think a lot of people make that leap or make that move before they're ready to. So here we go. You look up, it's been 40 years, 50, 60 years, and you still paying or you still holding on to the house by a thread. You feel me? And I think like just preparing yourself financially is essential when it comes to like building your legacy, building your future in this world, and building a future for your children. So I would just like in terms of like anybody else, like I ain't really tripping on them because that's gonna probably open up a can of worms to the conversation, which we're here to do. But as far as I think the root of the problem is it starts from within. So we know, so you just gave us a stat, right? So for me, in my mind, I'm going to look at what I can do different. I'm not going to look at like what somebody else did to set me back or what somebody else did to put me at a disadvantage.
Right.
I'm going to look at what I can do to change the outcome of it. You follow me? So I would say self-worth, financial literacy, self-love, and having the right people around you too, man. Building with the right people and having a plan, you know, and sticking to stick to that shit. You feel me? It'll work out.
All right, so you ain't want to open a can of worms, nigga, but I will. Listen.
Okay, let's
hear me out. And I'm gonna say this with the kindness and Lord, please bless me to give me the right words to say. We as black people are label whores where we fall in love with the designer. We gotta have the most expensive cars. We spend more on our trips and things than we do on stocks and bonds. We'll spend all this money on prom, but yet we don't even got the money to be able to get these kids into college or have a college fund set for them. We'll go ahead and spend all that money on prom, but we ain't got no insurance paid for them. So then we throwing fish fries or setting up GoFundMe's. We are a $1 billion corporation, just black people on ourselves every year. The money that we spend, the money that we make, the money that we pass out to the rest of the world, none of that money stays within our community. None of that money helps none of us out. None of that money is able to help increase us. All that money goes. They said what it takes, I think maybe roughly a few months for a Jewish dollar to leave a Jewish community. Because it's going to go to the Jewish lawyer. It's going to go to the Jewish bank. It's going to go to the Jewish deli. It's going to go to the Jewish designer or the dry cleaners. That all stays within that. As soon as we get a dollar, we going over to the poppy store. We going to the Arabs. We're not going to go invest within our people. We don't understand that a lot of us not having that collusion, sharing resources amongst each other. That's the reason why it's 44% of us don't own homes. That's the reason why 73%, because they don't even have the statistic about Hispanics, but you see them, they'll go sit in the house together. Might be like 5, 10 of them. We're going to rent this house together. We're going to save in here until we go all move on a family compound. We can go move a house. We're the ones, I know somebody that's been renting the same apartment since I was in the 4th grade. They don't realize they basically bought the building. You refinance we don't have financial literacy. We don't understand that you paying that rent over and over again, that paid their mortgage, that paid for them to get a new house, figure everything out. And yet here you go, we're still renting. So once we get to that's my biggest thing with my kids. My kids will be way better than me with financial literacy. Way better with me with credit scores. Way better than me with savings, 401ks, starting their own businesses, IULs, insurances, the stocks and bonds, like CDs. These are things I talk to my kids about because these were things that were never talked to me about. And I think that the more and more we have these conversations, 20 years from now, we're going to see our kids in a much better situation.
I agree. You ain't said nothing wrong. And I did this episode probably like a year and a half ago called Ignorance is Bliss. And everything that you said were things that I touched on, right? And you absolutely right. We have, as a people, we think that we focus more on looking like we got it than actually having it.
Right.
People become satisfied with like the look or the idea of than actually having it. And I would say that's the difference between us and like a lot of like other cultures, right? Or mainly like white people, because they'll buy things, they like things, but for real, it doesn't have to define them. I worked at Old Navy for a few months, and I would see, one of the big things was to push credit cards, like trying to get them to sign up for credit cards. They already coming with a credit card. Why do they need? First off, they don't. Why do they need more debt? And then two, they coming in. Listen, they coming in the Old Navy returning shit. What you could just tell. I'm saying like the wives, the rich wives.
Yeah,
they return it like so. The mentality is completely different. First off, you shopping at Old Navy. Let's start there. You follow me? When your lifestyle, you can go buy Gucci, Louis, or whatever you want, but it's not. They don't need it every day. They might have that.
I could be just as clean in H&M or a Primark. It's the clothes don't make the man make the clothes. It's all about the attitude. If you feel confident enough,
Trust
you go
me,
out
I
there.
know.
Shit, man, listen, I just was at H&M with my girl, and I'm just like, Dad, I could slide back here. I got something I could match this outfit with, this, and I could feel clean and only spend about $20, $30. I ain't got to go buy no American jeans for $450. I ain't got to go buy no Louis Vuitton shoes or this and that. Like we buy liabilities, not assets. As soon as that car get off the lot, it depreciates. It loses its value. When you buy a boat, a plane, you can rent that out. You make that, it grows in value. We buy these clothes. As soon as these clothes can't get us no extra money. Like
that's a burnout too. Like when you talk about the car, sometimes that's what I talked about too. Is like where you see the car parked at. My mom would be like, why is that on the street? Like, why is that shit parked in between? Like that shit's supposed to be resting in a driveway somewhere. But like that's. Like you said, the mentality. Like,
but I'm telling you, all my friends, a lot of my friends is like really wealthy that have like the businesses, the car shops, the gas stations. Man, they drive Hondas, Toyotas. They not driving no Benzes. That's us. We got to be paying a $700 car note and a $400 insurance, and then wondering why we crying every month. No, man.
That shit made my heart hurt. $700 on the car note.
I know somebody that's paying it right now. You paying $700 on the car note, and then you talking about you broke this week. That don't make sense. It don't make sense just to be able to drive in the car. Shit, no. Like it don't make sense. We financial literacy,
and don't even be happy, and don't even really be happy.
Don't be happy. You can't see your money. You working for a car. You working for a house. You working for this. You're not working for to live.
Yep. And even in terms of like the homes too, like having. Yes, you want to be able to have like your own place, your own space to call yours, or to eventually pass down to your children so that they can do whatever. But my thing is like, I just can't fathom the idea of dedicating my whole life to have that. You feel me? Like that should be an aspect of life that you have, right? But some people are okay with like dedicating their whole life. You follow me? And that's something. So that's why I said like self-worth, because like you might. So look, you renting might be your best bet at the moment, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to take all your extra money and go buy designer clothes with it?
Right.
Or you going to invest it? You feel me? Or you going to put it somewhere where as though it could potentially multiply?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's where the financial literacy would come in too, because you might put yourself in a position where you might have some extra money, but you taking your extra money and you just throwing it away.
People don't realize they said $1 is supposed to be like a frisbee. You send that thing back, it's supposed to come back with about 2 or 3 more. And we don't even look at that. We look at, oh man, I done made $2, $3, $4 off $1. Man, that's still something, because when you spend that $1, you don't get nothing back. But with that product, when you put that $1 into something, you get more dollars back. So man, we gotta financial literacy. We gotta have a
credit too. You mentioned credit.
Yeah, credit. Oh,
credit is a good joint too.
People don't understand the importance of credit. We grow up in the hood. We got somebody on our credit. My mom had a motherfucking Lord, excuse my language. Lord, stuff for love. My mom had Comcast in my name. So when I'm just graduating from college, I got my new apartment up on Lansdowne Station Apartments. I'm hyped, like, so now, this is financial literacy. I didn't know. If I'd have knew better, I'd have stayed with my grandmama. I'd have saved some money. I'm saying I got a new job fresh out of college. I called my mom, trying to get Comcast. They're like, well, you've had Comcast years ago. I'm like, I'm just 20-something years old. I had Comcast in the 90s.
What year was that?
Come on. So now I'm mad at my mom. You didn't use your social. And then black people, we quick to use our kids' social. Now it's a lot of more different things that kind of help protect these kids and their socials. But yeah, we gotta do a better job at credit, financial literacy, saving. If the reparations come through, man, I guarantee you, and I knock on wood, they want to do that because you know how many people that they want that just get that money right on back. They're gonna go buy
I
the
mean,
businesses. They're gonna
they
go
did it
buy
with
the
the
weed.
stimulus, with the stimulus checks. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was lines outside of the stores, the designer stores, like it was a concert going on in there.
But not
When they
buying
gave
the
it,
asset, not buying people. You got vending machine loans from PPA. You didn't go buy no vending machine with that money. You could actually legitimately started a business. No, people wanted to shine. They wanted to do all this and that. So I don't judge you, but at the end of the day, I think we got to do better when it comes to our money.
I would agree, and definitely like finding that network of like resource, whereas though we could circulate that money, we could circulate those dollars, right? And that when you said when you spoke on like the how like the Jewish community, how it might take a month for that dollar to leave, and even when that once it separates itself from that community, it's to bring something back into it, so that the dollar ain't just going away. You feel me? Like it's coming back in the form of another resource or in the form of a product that they could further make money off of. You know what I'm saying? So like I agree with you. Just building. That's another reason, what we doing here is going to be great because we'll figure out ways to like implement those ideas as far as like building generational wealth, and establishing those things for our children. It's definitely like for me, I aspire to have my daughters like this network to be big to where as though my daughters is maybe anchors or they producing shows and stuff like that. So that's like the vision here. Like I want to be able to not only create revenue, but create opportunities for my children. They might, it might not be like their dream or purpose, but you got an opportunity to come here and make some money. You want some money? All right, instead of me just giving you money or just paying all your bills, well, you come work for it. You follow me? Like stuff of that nature. So, we gonna get to that.
Now I'm gonna say this and then we can get to the next joint. It's crazy you say that though, because they say your imagination is a preview of life's coming events. And yesterday I literally was imagining just a studio that we had like that was able to work out of, we recording out of, we doing things out of. So and it really just came out of nowhere. And I sometimes I will project like I won't say like I'm a time traveler or nothing, but I will project my thoughts into what I really want in the future and just believe that and see that and have those same feelings as if I've already accomplished it. And I believe that does play a key in getting there. You got to believe it to achieve it. And I know that sounds corny or your attitude determines your latitude, but this really makes sense. You got to believe something to achieve it. Like, so I really believe we're going to get to that point and we're going to be looking back at these episodes like, man, we spoke to fruition. So
yeah, we're going to definitely, the studio, we're going to definitely get to that, man. And like you said, we're going to be able to look back on it and appreciate where we started from and where we ultimately end up at. So yeah, it's going to work out for sure. That's definitely a part of the goal.
All right, look, so how you feel? Because we got a jam-packed man cave segment, man. We had a few other joints we could have talked, but I'm ready to we can hop right into that, man, because we got some.
Let's go. I'm ready.
So this is
the Man Cave, brought to you in part by the YBG Network.
Man, we got some great topics today. First, we're going to start with school ending. If you can go back in time and rewrite your yearbook quote, what would it be?
Well, I ain't graduate. I got my GED like years after, so I didn't get a chance to do a yearbook quote. But if I could do a yearbook quote, I didn't put much thought into that. It would probably have some. Had I had the chance, it would have probably been some type of like rhyme or something like that. But it would probably be something like, yo, just stay focused. Something like, I think it's so many things that happen throughout life between then and now that have been a distraction from like my progression in life. I would want it like if I had made one and I was to go back and change it, it would be something like motivating as far as like keeping your focus on what's in front of you. You feel me? It's so many things that could be distracting. And even like we just talked about working job, you could get so caught up in working a job or trying to maintain a car, just stay focused. But we out here trying to really build something, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have like a quote or like a saying, a fancy saying, but it would definitely be along the lines of something of remaining focused and keeping your goals in front of you.
I was an asshole in my last year of high school. Like when I say so
Where
look,
you graduate from?
Penwood High.
Okay, okay.
So listen, I was going to Fieri Charter School. I got kicked out of multiple schools. I went to Penwood High the last 2 months of my 11th grade year and all 12th grade. And I just was like, I don't want to be here. Like when I did, so they make you take a picture at the school. It's like the whole school. They sit in the stands, like the whole 12th grade class. I sat
Mm-hmm.
behind the photographer. I wasn't even in the picture. That's how I was just ready to get back to class, get out of there. Like I didn't write nothing in the yearbook. I got asked to prom by 3 different girls, told them no. I traded one prom date for some Reese's Pieces. The one boy, he like, yo, I really like her. I won't go prom. I said, yo, give me the Reese's Pieces. You can go prom with her. She was so hurt. I
What
apologize
year?
to
So
you.
this would have been '06. What you '06, right?
6, yeah. So I was,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want to go on prom. I was such in the streets at this time. Like I literally I didn't take my SATs because I thought I was going to sell drugs all my life. That was really my mindset. I didn't apply to colleges. I didn't do nothing. So for the fact is, for me to be a college graduate, be with the job that I have, living the life I have, God had a better vision for me. So for me, if I could go back and rewrite in the area book, I was just like, man, just trust God. Like you don't know everything. Your thoughts that you have for yourself is not the road that God has you. They want you to go down. I could have never imagined myself having the family I have, the kids, the job, the education, us having this podcast, being articulate as I am. I'm really a shy person, but over time, I've been able to be more articulate, more outgoing, speaking more. So I could never imagine these things. So if I could go back and write anything in the yearbook, it would be, man, just be open to change, be open to God. Just like you don't have it all known out. You 18 years old, nigga. You don't know what you about to do. Like,
Yeah,
no.
when I'm pretty much the same. I think I got kicked out so 10th grade. I just like I told that story when I tried out for the basketball team. He told me to come back the next day. I just threw it all away. And that's pretty much how I started to utilize like school. So 10th grade, I ain't do jack. So I pretty much failed 10th. So coming back the next year, I thought I was going to do the same thing, cut class all day. They got me right out of there. Sent me to Glen Mills Alternative School. I was probably like the first group of kids to go to, Glen Mills was like a juvenile placement where they lock you up there. But I was a part of the alternative school where I would go there during the day. So that was kind of like me. Like it wasn't that I couldn't do the work. It was just that I didn't have a structure. So you put me basically in the jail in the daytime. Yeah, I want to come home. I don't know what the heck this is.
This nigga just he like Randy Orton.
We gonna get to the wrestling too. That Joe did I don't know what that was about. Anyhow, so I was saying like when I got to what would have been my 11th grade, but repeating 10th grade year, I got sent to Glen Mills. So obviously because I wanted to I didn't want to be there and I didn't want to do shit to like fuck around and gotta live there. I would just do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So what would have been my 12th grade year, but ultimately ended up being 11th grade year, I begged my mom to send me back to Penwood because Glen Mills is a jail. No females there. So even in the alternative program, no females. So I'm like, Mom, I can't even really be myself. Like, it's just weird. So can I beg my mom to send me back? And they like, yo, listen, if you do one thing left or right, bro, like other than going straight path, you done. You feel me? And of course, I go back and get messed up, just start hanging around the wrong crowd, bro. That's another thing we'll talk about at some point in time. I want to talk about that, but I got kicked out. They kicked me out, which would have been my original 12th grade year, which would have been '05. And I remember Bull kicked me out, and I just never went back. They wanted me to go to night school, but I gave up on it completely. But as far as GED, again, shout out my cousin Kristen, her mom, cousin Bev. She was an educator. She had taught and she retired from Overbrook. She was an English teacher at Overbrook. So she got a lot of educator friends and stuff. And she was trying to help me get my GED when I was like 19. And I just wouldn't do it, bro. I was just doing everything else, distracted by what life was for me at that point, and I didn't want to do it. So I wound up getting my GED like probably like 5 years later when I was in jail. So now it's like, again, so think about what I told you about being at Glen Mills. I passed that year because I was in a situation where I had no other choice but to. So when I got locked up, I'm like, you might as well just get your GED. So that's I just wanted to share that, give more context to why I ended up with a GED and I didn't graduate high school or whatever. But I'll say this. I'll end off by saying this, like, if I had that strong male figure in my life, bro, during that point in time in life, I'd have been good, bro. And I just didn't have it. And my mom, again, I'm getting older, so I'm like disobeying my mom now. She can't really. I'm like, you talk about telling my mom you're gonna go ahead, but you're going. I was good for that. You feel me? Doing whatever I wanted to. So my mom didn't really have like the control that she once had. Excuse me. Had I had like that strong male figure, I'm not even gonna say a father, or my father, but if I had a strong male figure, somebody to keep me in line, that's where I would have been. I would have been in line. You feel me?
Yeah. Real quick before we get to this, because you just reminded me of something, and we on this platform, man, because I gotta find this. I had a mentor. His name was Samuel Ubo. He worked at Glexico Smith and Klein. He was my mentor. And when I went to Fieri Charter, man, I've been looking for Samuel for years. Like Samuel used to come pick me up from the projects, take me to the Sixers games in his convertible. He lived downtown. He had a crazy Jay-Z collection. Like when I say he instilled in me so much, and he actually went back to school, went to Princeton. But I've been looking for Samuel. It's really just to tell him thank you. Like why I may have been a little bit of hesitant of your advice and things and getting me out the neighborhood. To this day, that's still something that sits well within me and that has made me to be the man that I am today. Like to see what you aspire to become, what you was having as a black man and working at a Fortune 500 company and having your own place and being educated, going back to school. I've been looking online for Samuel for years. I cannot find him, but I don't know if this platform helps you find it.
Might reach out. Yeah,
I literally just want to tell him thank you, man. Like, cause he
that's
really
fine.
meant so much to my life and really inspired me to like really do so much. Like, and when I really didn't want to do anything at all.
How did you end up back at Penwood from Fieri Charter? Why didn't you stay at Fieri? That's a good joint.
Quick story, real quick. Then we're gonna get out of here. That was a little crazy. All right, so I stole this lady pocketbook, right?
Okay.
I stole this lady pocketbook at Fieri Charter in my 11th grade year. Mind you, I didn't even technically steal it. I just was slick. I was in Dunkin' Donuts. I heard this lady. They said, did somebody leave your pocketbook? I said, yeah, my sister left it. I'm just thinking money. So there's probably money in there. I ain't got no sister go to Fieri.
Thinking, he said, yeah.
I said, yeah, my sister. I go into Fieri. I see this girl. She's scamming. I said, yo, it's this lady that says a pocketbook in Dunkin' Donuts. You can go get it. I said, now I'm just guessing. I said, say the purse is black. They're going to ask you what the color of the purse is. 9 times out of 10, the purse is black. She go in there, they ask her. She get the pocketbook. We walk down the street, take the money out. She go about her business. I go about my business. I'm at the train station. Stacy walks up like, man, there's this lady at Dunkin' Donuts. She's like going through it. Somebody stole her purse and her medicine was in there. And I'm like, that was me. Stacy's like, man, her, give it back. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, bro, it's gone. Like, I didn't already took the money, went around Sprint, paid my phone bill, I just want to talk to the girls. My girls. That's all I was on. I wanted my money, get my phone back on, talk to my chicks. Yeah. Man, we go to school the next day. The teacher, me and the girl, we both in honors English. They come get us out of honors English. The teacher, his name is Mr. Lawrence. He rolled a TV and I said, Mr. Lawrence, before you gonna put it on the camera, I did it. You ain't even got to say nothing. I did it, man. I've been feeling remorseful all last night. When I say that was probably one of the first time I really like prayed the night before, because I felt so guilty. My brother said that woman was there. She needed her medicine. She was going through. I felt so bad. So I ended up getting kicked out of there. They sent me to St. Louis. I went to Hazelwood East in St. Louis, Missouri. I went there for probably like 6 months. My grandma was like, babe, you can come back home. Then I went to Penwood High the rest of my 11th. So I went to 3 schools in my 11th grade year, and then Penwood High my whole 12th grade year.
12th grade year.
And
okay.
Then graduated.
All right, cool. All right, that makes sense. I mean, we all made some bad decisions, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but the good thing is that you've learned from it. So that's ultimately, the end game is like learning from the mistakes, the bad decisions that we make along the way. So shout out to you for learning from that. You know what I mean? And you graduated, right?
Yeah,
you graduated on time and
everything.
everything. You feel me?
Ain't had to go
Yeah,
to
so
summer school, nothing. Listen, I went to summer school every year, 7th, 8th, 9th, twice in 11th. So, but no, so we got these next one. You can get, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say two names. You tell me which one you rocking with.
okay.
Joey Badass or Daylight?
Come on, man. Joey. I'm rocking with Joey on this one, man. Joey is like really he has really restored the feeling of like what I know to be like East Coast hip hop. It's other people that do it. We still get like Jada Kiss. You can still go listen to Cam from time to time, Jim Jones, but I'm just talking about that
Jim
fresh.
Jones?
It's like I rock. You don't rock with Jim Jones?
Oh,
Jim Jones got
that
some
old vampire wanna dress like he's 12. Like
yeah, I
he
like him
dressed
though.
like
I
he had
like
an
him
R.
as
Kelly let out, like a school let
yo,
out.
that's funny as shit. That's funny as shit. I like you like lyrically and musically, he got some good music, right?
All right, well, send me something when
But
we get
Joey,
off.
yeah, I got you. Joey though, like I don't know what his real reason of like initiating the battle with them is.
Yeah.
I would love to find out, but I think it's nothing other than like just trying to state his claim in hip hop, right? And because you got to realize he been acting on Raising Kanan. I want to say what we on the 4th season right now.
Yeah.
So all 4 seasons he been Raising Kanan, right? So even when Kendrick and Drake was going on, he was kind of like in a tuck. So I think whatever reason he ignited it, that fire in him to do it, I love it, man. I love that feel, you know, like Kendrick and them. I rock with Kendrick. I'll go back and listen to GNX now, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a different feeling.
Yeah.
You follow me? Like, but it's not that it's bad that I can't get with it, but I like the feel of what I came up on. Yeah, like we from the East Coast. We from Philly. We had Beans and they was on Rockefeller. You feel me? Nas and you know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like. So it's more relatable for me. So I love what Joey Badass is doing right now. And as far as like a Daylight is good because I like him as a battle rapper. You know, I think that as far as what battle rap has become and what it like what you have to do within that world to be successful, Daylight understands that. But that has always been a thing like for like battle rappers is like they aren't it has been said that they aren't as good on track as they are on like doing the face-to-face battles. And listening to like what Daylight did, I just ain't like it. There's a few other guys that tried to like diss Joey, and I'm like, no, y'all got to get out of here. Like Joey carrying it. Yeah. So Joey for sure.
All right, got Joey in that one. Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark?
I gotta be biased on this one, dog. I gotta be biased and go Angel on this one, man. Right. I love me some Angel Reese just because for me, like she symbolizes. Okay, look, we go.
No. I'm listening. You know,
she symbolizes like every black girl or upcoming aspiring black athlete across America. I'm saying from the hood because you got a lot of black women that went to the WNBA before her, right? But I'm just talking about the attitude, the image. You feel me? And I think being in that position, being in that national, she kind of like had been thrusted into that national spotlight. So I don't know that she was necessarily prepared to deal with all the things that came along with that. And I said I'm biased, and I don't want to sound like I'm racist and shit, but is she a black girl? So
yeah.
Give me Angel any day. No disrespect to Caitlyn. Caitlyn is good. But I also think that is some biasness there in the media, catering to like, Caitlin Clark. Because again, I just watched last weekend, I watched a documentary it's called The Women of Troy. It's the story about Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller, the
Reggie Miller
McGee twin. Yeah, McGee twins, JaVale McGee, mom and his aunt. And is it not Cheryl Swoops?
Are they all with USC?
Back in the day. So they're like pioneers for like before, mind you, it wasn't no WNBA or none of that shit right there during those times, right? So not Cheryl Swoops. What's the other one name? and they say that Love and Basketball was about her. It's not
So
Cheryl
back in the
Swoop,
day, it was Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Thompson.
not Thompson. Her name is and that's gonna bother me that is not coming to me. Hold on, it's not Swoops though. Swoops is she played on the same team as Swoops when they made the WNBA though. But hold on, give me a second. Cheryl,
Tina Thompson. No.
not Tina Thompson. She fired. WNBA Cheryl.
Shamika Home Squad. I don't know.
Am I not saying? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't come up with her name right now. I don't want to hold it up. But nonetheless, she played on the. Those are women that like women of color who like pioneered the game of women's basketball. You feel me? So I think, and even if you want to come up a little, you got. I watched also the 90. What was it? 96 women's. It was either 96. It was 96 women's basketball team.
Yeah.
In the Olympics. You follow me? They had the names are leaving me. What's the coach right now from North Philly?
It was Dawn Stelly, Lisa Leslie.
Come on,
Lisa Lobo. It was Cheryl. It was Lisa Cheryl.
So I find it a little
Tina
disrespectful
Thompson.
I find it a little disrespectful that it took, and we're not even going to mention Maya Moore. It's so Diana Taurasi. It's so many women before Caitlin Clark that have done outstanding things for the game of women's for basketball. Period, not just for women basketball. So I just think I think that is if you go, I'll send you the Olympics drawing also because it shows how even when they were creating the WNBA, they were marketing women. Yeah. So even though Lisa, they didn't want Lobo on the team because she wasn't as good, right? She eventually gained their respect, but because of her imagery, you feel me? Her imagery placed her in that position to be able to be a good fit for what they were doing at the time. So that's my thing too. I just think that Caitlin Clark just not only she's good, she's great, but there's so many women before her that were great that they didn't say we're the face and they're gonna reinvent women's basketball and all that shit like that. Like, I just feel like it's a little slap in the face to the women that came before her. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I don't really get with her. Like, basketball wise, she's great. You feel me? But in terms of, outside of basketball, like I'm rocking with Angel Reese for sure.
Got you. We got two more for you, and then we're gonna get down to our thought votes.
Hold on before you go. You got to tell me who you take. You ain't give me your pick. Who you pick?
All right, so I love what Angel Reese is doing with the Bayou Barbie, everything she's doing for the Chicago Sky. However, I put on WNBA highlights for my youngest daughter, and she wanted to watch Caitlin Clark. I tried to put on Angel Reese. The Caitlin Clark was exciting to her to see her runner coming around, the pick and rolls, the screens, the shooting the
knocking the three down,
knocking it down. Angel Reese's game is more precipitated upon rebounding, back down, back to the basket. That's not really a sexy game to girls. Like, they love the Steph Curry, the shooting, the dribbling, the shots. So that's why I kind of think that she's resonating more with young basketball players, because everybody's not going to be the height of Angel Reese. Everybody's not going to be able to the wingspan, be able to get the rebounds, but you can shoot like Caitlin Clark. If you work hard enough, you can get that motion, come around screens. So I think she's really exciting to the game now. And definitely, it was like proven to me firsthand experience when my youngest, she wanted to watch her. I tried to put on Michael Jordan. She said, "Is it a girl that plays?" I tried to put on Angel Reese. She's seen a Caitlin Cartland highlight come up, Caitlin Clark highlight come underneath, and she wanted to see that.
Maya Moore. Show her Maya Moore.
Oh, yeah. Maya was cool. Or Skylar Diggins, beautiful.
Skylar. Speaking of Skylar, she just filed for divorce.
So no more Skylar Diggins Smith. It's just Smith. Skylar Diggins.
She told the reporter, "Don't call me Skylar Diggins. Thank you." Yeah, that was recent. It was Cynthia Cooper. That's the name I was that was running away from me. But she also played on that that Women of Troy. She played on USC. But they say that Love and Basketball was made in light of her.
Oh yeah, she did go to USC.
She also And
And
she
then,
went overseas and played. Remember she was in the movie, she was over Spain playing basketball in Spain. That's Cynthia Cooper too. She had went when they created the WNBA, the women, they was like 30. You feel me? A lot of the star players, they was in their like 30s and they late 20s and 30s at that point in time. I also watched the joint with what's the tall light skin one from Tennessee. She got a few championships. You know what I'm talking
Candace
about.
Parker?
Candace Parker. I watched the joint. So last week I was in my bag with like women's basketball and WNBA. Yeah, I was in my bag. Yep. But shout out to them all though. Shout out to Caitlin and Angel.
Yeah, Angel, man, doing major things for the game of basketball, man. Mamba is somewhere smiling in heaven. You know, he love the game. So we got a few more, and then we're gonna get to our Mount Rushmore of wrestling and our top 5 comedians. We might save a few more for next week because we coming down like 125 an hour now. So all right, Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. Both are currently up 2-0, with SGA and OKC up 2-0 over Minnesota and Ant-Man, as well as the Pacers and Halliburton up 2-0 over Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Quickly, who you got winning both series, and do you think that the teams that's under can come back?
Nah, I feel like when you up 2-0, it's so crazy. When we talked about this last episode, I said the two teams that are down, I thought that they would be the better matchup in the finals.
Because I don't want to see the OKC versus Indiana. I will not watch it. I'm telling you, NBA, if that's the teams y'all put in there, I don't want to see that shit. I don't.
Yeah, and they to be honest, and I said Pacers, I like Pacers as the underdogs, and they haven't disappointed. They've been pretty good to watch, and I don't know if it's because they're supposed to be the underdogs in this series and they're like up 2-0, but those games have been way more exciting. I watched OKC and Minnesota the other night, and I wasn't too pleased with that, John. But those teams are up 2-0. They should be able to seal the deal. You up 2-0, there's no reason for you to lose 4 games straight or however many games.
Yeah.
4 out of the next 5. That don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? They should be able to cash that in for sure. Both teams, OKC and the Pacers for sure.
Lord, I kind of agree with you. I would hope Ant-Man takes it to 7, come back. Hope the Knicks even take it to 7 too. So I really don't want it. I think that's going to be a boring NBA Finals to me because it's just going to be OKC dominating the Pacers. Pacers are a good team, but I don't believe that they match up with OKC. I think they'll dominate them, and they may be a 5-game series at most. So I'm not looking.
What I'll say about the Pacers, ironically, their name is the Pacers. But they control the pace of the game. They get out and run. You feel me? They play good defense and they play good team ball. You feel me? OKC, they can run too, but they not as good on a run as like the Pacers. OKC, they're good in the half court game when they slow it down. So too is the Pacers, but the Pacers I think they're defensively, the Pacers might shock they might shock whoever they play in the next round. If the Pacers could hold on and win this and they end up going to the finals, I think they're going to shock a lot of people, man, in the finals, regardless if it's OKC or Minnesota. Minnesota, they don't look focused. They look out of it. You feel me? The good thing is they play at home, so that could turn things around for them. The difference about the Pacers and the Knicks series is that the Pacers are going home. So they won 2 games on the road. And they should definitely be able to back that the crib.
Split it. Yeah.
It's over. Yeah, it's going to most likely be over.
We're going to end the man cave segment with the last topic. Then we're going to get to our Q&A and get up out of here. Who is in your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Come on, man. First off, I just want
4 people is in Mount Rushmore, right?
4 people, and I might even got an honorable mention, but you should be able to tell by like my Mount Rushmore, like the era of wrestling that I haven't really been into wrestling like in a long while, but when I was a kid, I was really heavy into wrestling. So my Mount Rushmore goes Shawn Michaels, which is my favorite wrestler. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Then I'm gonna go Bret Hart. Then I'm gonna go Stone Cold, and then I'm gonna go The Rock. Again, those guys have done a lot for the game, but I remember when it was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. They was the top guys. I remember when Stone Cold was with Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. He had the $1 Million belt. He won King of the Ring. Then he won the Royal Rumble. Same thing with The Rock. I remember when The Rock was Rocky Maivia. So I kind of like I came into like watching wrestling like at a certain point in time, and that's kind of like what my Mount Rushmore symbolizes. But it's no denying Stone Cold and Rock and what they've done ultimately for wrestling throughout the whole time. And my honorable mention is the Ultimate Warrior. Like, I don't think did he lose?
Yeah, he lost against Hulk Hogan.
Did he get pinned or did he get disqualified? Because he was.
I think he got pinned. Yeah, he would always hop up. Yeah, he lost to Hulk.
I would say he was on steroids and coke heavy. He was going. He will win matches in like under a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Run right back and then just run right back down the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my Mount Rushmore. Those 4 guys, and I had to honorably mention Ultimate Warrior. That was my guy.
So, you got your era. I am a wrestling fan to this day. Like, I'm still 30, so I still kick everybody out on a Saturday or Sunday. WrestleMania come on. I'm still watching Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. I watch AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA. Like, I'm really into wrestling. Like, I love it. It's like the greatest soap opera for males and just with wrestling and contact. So my 4 would kind of be from the eras that I watched them in. I'm gonna say Ric Flair is in my Mount Rushmore. Definitely Shawn Michaels. I gotta go with it's between The Rock and Stone Cold. I'm gonna have to go with Stone Cold, even though I've wrestled. Because if it's not Shawn Michaels, it would be Bret Hart. I could wrestle back and forth. So right now I got Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and I'm gonna have to go to New Age because he's killing it. He's made WWE $1 billion corporation right now, and that's Roman Reigns. Like he's the reason why they just recently merged with TKO. Sold for $1 billion. He's the reason. Like his storyline with all his family, related to The Rock and all of them. He's Yokozuna's nephew, Umaga. He's related to all of them. Like so, he's holding it down. Especially with the honorable mention, would probably definitely be the cerebral assassin Triple H. Man, I think he's underrated.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah, Hunter Hearst, the blue collar. I think, and the fact that he runs the company now shows that he may be one of the greatest ever to transition to being from a performer to now running the whole show. So
that's so funny to watch too, because I remember Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like when he was just that, he was like a intercontinental like level, like that was the level he was competing on. Yeah, so it's so dope to see like his growth as far as like what he's done for the sport and the company over the last 25, almost 30 years. It's crazy.
So that's going to wrap up the Man Cave segment, man. I definitely enjoyed that one. We got some real good ones coming from next week because we couldn't even really fit them all in this week, but we're going to wrap up.
The Man Cave is going to be, that's like where we, so we definitely got to have a good balance on that. But we definitely got some good Jones coming next week for sure.
All right, we got Q&A. I got a question. So you could answer my question and I'll answer yours. We do it like this.
Okay. You give me your question first because I need to gear mine up. Make sure I got. All right.
All right. So this question is from Isaiah. He says, "How do you feel about your significant other, having a friendly, cordial relationship with the mother or father of their child?"
Friendly? No. Cordial? Yes. I feel like I spoke on that earlier in a conversation when we talked about like when the children hit a certain age, like I feel like it's necessary for me. So for me and like my partner, I want her to have that same balance in her life, outside of the child that we have together. She got children also. Yes. So I definitely like I support like being cordial, parents being cordial, especially after not being together. Like that's my thing too about us and how we do things, because it's like, yo, we the children is here. So at
Yeah.
some point shit was cool. You feel me? So like I think we gotta find ways, and obviously so much things take place, but I think we gotta find ways to carry that out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some stuff that go on that make us like, you know what, I can't get down with this, or I don't want to be with that person. But the child is here, the children are here now.
Yeah,
So
that's
how
most
can we,
important.
you know what I'm saying? So I definitely I could champion that. Like, you know, being cordial with the parent of the other parent of your child. But friendly, I say friendly, that's a friendly, I might need to review that. You feel me? Because even
Yeah.
friendly, there's a thin line between being friendly and freaky nowadays, dog. So I'm I'm so like, especially because they was there first and shit. So it's like, oh, y'all being y'all laughing a little too hard for my
Yeah,
liking
see,
and
I ain't
shit.
got no problem when it's cordial, but if it's underlining stuff, you done send
Yeah,
little messages, what you doing, let's
yeah,
go
no,
out, stuff like that. No,
yeah,
but
no.
if you sitting there, you being strictly about your child, yeah, that's no problem.
Mm-hmm,
But it'd be the little underlining stuff, like little smart shit, or you still trying to
mm-hmm,
check the temperature, like, no, nigga, like, trying all
mm-hmm.
that.
No, I can't get with that part of it.
All right, so what's your question for me, brother?
So this question is, I didn't get a chance to, and that's something else that we're going to do. We're going to definitely find a way to be able to reach out to more people and give other people the opportunity to ask us questions. So, but nonetheless, this is from Jazz, who helps me on my end as far as bringing what I bring to the podcast. And her question is, can you name a parenting myth that you found to be untrue? Myth meaning like maybe like more like a saying or an idea of what parenting is or comes along with. I forget the exact. She gave me an example of like what she meant by that. But
I could think of that.
what came to my mind is like, what was it? Something had come to my mind when she said what she said. So like, you know, children will
Do as
do
I
as you,
say, do as I say, but not as I do.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Bullshit.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, excuse my
Yeah,
language
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
no. I definitely, so when I say what myth that I could probably, that I've seen as a parent that they say is a certain way, um, if you're a good parent to your child, your kids will turn out to be good.
Mm,
That is a myth. That is a myth because I've seen parents be amazing parents to their kids, and the kids just rebel at a certain age. I've seen your parents be horrible parents to their kids, and their kids still turn out good. So that myth that if you have a bad parent or a bad upbringing, you're going to have a bad future, or if you have a
mm-hmm,
good parent, you have a
mm-hmm.
good upbringing, you're going to have a good future. No, it's totally dependent on your attitude, your determination, what you want out of life. So that's really what I've seen because I've seen like I got an old head. He's trying to raise his son right now. He's done everything he can for young boy, helping him out. Young boy just want to be in the streets because that's just the environment around. That's what his friends doing. My man raised him to be good, to follow what you doing, figure out everything. He actually wanted to be on the
Mm-hmm.
podcast too. You know, appear one time.
Okay.
He doing his best, and it's not because of him. It's because of what the
Mm-hmm.
young boy. So I really believe that that's probably a myth that just because you come in a good household don't mean you're gonna have a good outcome.
I like that, man. I would say that too. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I think everything in life is subjective, and you know, not every situation pans out the same. So just because you've worked super hard to give your child everything in the best life doesn't mean that they always gonna follow through. And
Right.
you gotta have balance on that because you don't want to spoil your children. You know, you want to
Yeah.
take care of them. You want to make sure that they good, they well off, but spoiling them is exactly
Just,
that. You
even
know,
just look at the term spoil. If you spoil
that's what
milk,
I
it
would
goes
say.
rotten, it goes bad. We talking, oh, my
Yeah.
baby spoiled. Your baby bad, your baby about to go bad, your baby about to have no good nutrients to him. Like, what is it? Like, I think it's life or death in the tongue. Like, we spell words, we spelling, like cast spells, like
Mm,
everything we talk. Look at disease, this, which means to not or to lack, and ease. When you have disease, you're
mm.
lacking ease. Like, we don't understand there's so many different things we speak over ourselves. Certain things I don't even allow my kids to say because they don't understand that
I
it
get
will
that.
have ramifications.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree for sure. All right, man. That was dope. I like that, John, man. Wait. killing this shit, bro. We gonna get this shit moving. We left a few Jones on the table, but we gonna listen. We gonna get to that. I'm saying it right here on this episode, Davon. Derby Little League Red Sox. So we gonna bring that John to him next week too. You feel me? We could talk
That's
about
how
some
we
of
gonna
our
start off the episode. We need to tell you about how we was kicking ass and as kids and we formed lifelong bonds and friendships and learned lessons from this. And as growing up as two young boys that didn't really have any fathers in their lives, that played such a pivotal role. And we want to drive to actually get Derby Little League going again in Derby.
Remember, didn't we do that? Was you there when we did like the meeting? I think it was.
Yeah, we met at the thing, but I think this is what's going to help us out more. We're going to be able to get fundraising people to help us out. I got a bag full of bats and helmets and stuff like that would be for Little League and for us. So
you've been saying that for a minute too. Now that you just reminded me, you were saying that maybe two summers ago when you were telling me you figured out how to like get the joint moving. We need to get Derby Little League running. Yeah. So it's life is so crazy and so much stuff be happening. Like I might even how I like ended up coming to you to start the podcast. I'm like, he said that shit. So yeah, you've been planting the seeds, bro, and it's going to manifest itself for sure, bro.
Inshallah.
Yeah. So any this another joint too. This is how we should end it off, bro. First off, make sure you subscribe. I know we at the end of the show, but if you made it this far with us, make sure you subscribe, you comment, you tap in with us. We available. Follow us on social media. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you show us some love, and we're gonna definitely reciprocate it, man. But this how I think we should end it off, right? Give your one of your children, if not some overall advice. You know, if not just one of them, just give some type of advice, any type of life advice or something that you want to say to your children. You know, that's how I want to end this joint off. What's some advice that you would offer up to them?
Never start a fight, but always finish it. Don't be the one that be allow somebody to just pick on you, say anything to you, but always defend yourself. Don't try to be the aggressor, but always be somebody that aggressively protects themselves. Like that's what I would want to implore to all my kids, all 4 of y'all. Just don't ever let nobody just pick on you, do nothing to you, put their hands on you. If it's authority's got to be called or something that could be in a better position. But if you got to fight. Like, your dad would fight, so y'all fight. Like,
Word. I love that,
I don't mean make these kids violent. Now. I'm just saying, like,
No, you ain't saying that wrong.
Babies, man. Like, fight.
Yeah. It's definitely an important part. I think the good part, the good balance would be like you said, don't start it, but finish that, John. Like, learn how to like defend yourself. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You feel me? And it might only take one time because once they defend, then niggas gonna be like, oh, all right, he was welling that. Like, I seen that, Joe. I ain't messing with boy, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna leave him alone. I would say, like, for my children, I would just I say this a lot, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but love yourself, man. First and foremost. Ever so often do we search outward for things, trying to like cover up or fill like voids within ourselves. I think figuring out and finding out how to do that for yourself is most importantly. We don't want to live a life of like empty, building like frivolous relationships with people and searching something that's not there. You feel me? So I think having and establishing self-love, loving yourself enough to even establish a relationship with God, because again, that's so important too. Sometimes we look for answers in people and they just don't have them for us because they might be lacking, but it don't mean that if it doesn't necessarily always have to determine, our relationship with those people, but they just might not have what it is you're looking for. So if you learn to love yourself and learn to love God and confide in God, I think you can make it through any situation. So I would definitely I just want to tell them, continue to love yourself and the people that's closest to you. And we're going to get to that, man. Everything that we set out to do in this life, everything that we dream about, we can do it, but we got to do the work on ourselves, man. We got to stay faithful to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are the captain of your ship, so agree with the same. If you travel downward, you have yourself to blame. We are the masters of our own destinations, the captains of our own ships. So thank y'all for tuning in to Black Dad Podcast. I'm Pascal Rascal. That's Underrated Ed.
Yes, sir.
See y'all again next week.
This is only a test.